We continue now at the top of Daf Yud Gimel Amud Aleph in Maseches Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 13a. And the previous Amud Shmuel said that we only declare a leap year if the summer season extends into the month of Tishrei, the majority of the month. And the Gemara asked how much is considered Ruba Shel Chodesh, what's considered the majority of the month. Rabbi Yehuda on the previous Amud said 16 days. And the Gemara now continues, Rabbi Yossi says, Echad v'esrim yom, it's 21 days. And Rashi explains, Rabbi Yossi Omer Echad v'esrim yom, im tzarech lahashlam chaf aleph yom mechodesh Tishrei al tekufas Tammuz. If the tekufas Tammuz, which is the summer season, if that extends into the month of Tishrei 21 days, shetkufas Tishrei nofelos b'chaf beis, meaning to say the tekufas Tishrei, which is the fall season, if that comes out on the 22nd of Tishrei, so then ma'avrin, then you have to declare a leap year. That's too much of the summer taking place in the month of Tishrei. Umosifan chodesh echad, and you have to add a month. V'dochenes hamoados, you have to push off the holidays. Kedei shetaktim tkufas Tishrei l'chag. That way, the tkufas Tishrei, the fall season, will precede Sukkos. Avalim hoisa tkufas Tishrei nofelos b'chaf aleph. But let's say the tkufas Tishrei, it falls out on day number 21 of Tishrei, so the summer doesn't extend that far into Sukkos. Dehainu yom echad b'so chola shel moed, meaning one day of chola moed is going to be tkufas Tishrei. Ein ma'avrin, then there is no need to declare a leap year. And the Gemara continues and explains the machlokus between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, whether it's 16 days or 21 days. Ushneim and mikra echad darshu, they both darsh in the same pasuk. The pasuk says Chag ha'asif tekufas hashana. It says that it's the holiday of gathering. And Mar Savar Kulei Chag Bo'inon Beskufa Chadasha. One holds that the entire Chag, which is referring to the days of Chol HaMoed, they all have to take place B'Tekufa Chadasha. They all have to take place in the new season, meaning in the fall season. If even one day of Chol HaMoed Sukkos is still the summer season, that's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. In such a situation, you have to push off Sukkos. You have to make it a leap year. Umar Savar, but the other one says Mixas Chag Bo'inon B'Tekufa Chadasha. You just need to have part of the holiday, meaning part of Chol HaMoed has to be in the fall season. As long as the last day of Chol HaMoed is still in the season of fall, that is good enough. There is no need to push off Sukkos for a month. There's no need to declare a leap year. However, if it turns out that the summer season extends so that all of Chol HaMoed Sukkos is in the summer season, then already you're going to have to declare a leap year. And Rashi explains, Chag ha'asif, Zman ha'asif, it means again the time of gathering Shebechag, which is on Sukkos. Dahainu cholo shel Chag, that has to refer to Chol HaMoed, that's when you do the actual gathering. Sheyachol lesof bo davar ha'avid, at that time you would be allowed to gather anything that would represent a loss of money if you didn't gather it. And so Rashi continues, Hishamer sheyeh beskufas shana hanechneses, you have to make sure that that occurs in the coming season. V'lo betoch tkufas Tammuz shehi mishana she'avra, and not in the summer season, which is the season from the past year. And Rabbi Yehuda holds kulo chag bo'inon, the entire chag, the entire chol hamoed, kolomar kol cholo shel moed bo'inon beskufa chadasha, that entire chol hamoed, it needs to be in the new season, it needs to take place in the fall. Hilkach, therefore, keshetkufas Tammuz chaseira shisha aser hare yom echad micholo shel moed nimshach lesocha. If the tkufas Tammuz is missing 16 days, meaning it has to extend 16 days into the month of Tishrei, so then it's going to be one day of Chol HaMoed. It's still going to be the summer season. Techamisha Aser Yom Tov, because it's the 15th, which is the day of Yom Tov. V'yom Shisha Aser Cholo Shel Moed, and the 16th day, that's Chol HaMoed. If that's still the summer season, that's a problem. You have to declare a leap year. Avolim Haisa Tkufas Tishrei Nofelos B'yom Tezzayin. But let's say the Tkufas Tishrei, let's say the fall season, if that falls out on the 16th, Hare Kol Cholo Shel Moed B'Tkufa Chadasha Ve'ein Ma'avrin. Then you have the entire Chol HaMoed in the fall season, and there is no need to declare a leap year. And Rabbi Yossi says, Mixas Cholo Shel Moed Bo'inon B'Tkufa Chadasha, you need to have just some of Chol HaMoed in the new season, in the fall season. Hilkach, therefore, Keshetkufas Tishrei Nofelos B'yom Chav Beis, if the Tkufas Tishrei falls out on day number 22, Shu Yom Tov Ha'acharon, that's the last day of Yom Tov, Ma'avrin Es Hashana, so then you will have to declare a leap year. V'dochen Es HaMoados, you'll have to push off the holidays. Kedei Lahaktim Tkufa L'chag, that way fall will fall out before Sukkos. Avolim Roin Bezin Ba'adar Shetipol Tkufas Tishrei B'yom Chaf Aleph, but if Bezdin sees in Adar that the Tkufas Tishrei, the fall season, is going to come out on day number 21, Shu Shvi Shel Arava, which is Hoshana Rabbah, that's still Chol HaMoed, Dika Mixas Chol Shel Moed, B'Tkufa Chadasha, you have some of Chol HaMoed in that new season, Ein Ma'avrin, then there is no need to declare a leap year. But the Gemara continues, Maika Savri, what exactly do Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi hold with regards to the actual day of the equinox? The question here is going to be, on that day, is that day considered to be part of the previous season, part of the summer season, or is it considered to be the first day of fall? Ika Savri Yom Tekufa Gomer, if they hold that the Yom Tekufa, the day of the equinox, is actually the finishing of the summer season, so Belav Hachinami, so even without that, meaning you're going to be a day off, Lo Lamandamar Kulei Chagik, according to the Mandamar who says that you need the entire Chol HaMoed to be in the fall season, you don't have that because the day of the equinox is also considered part of the summer season. V'lo l'manda amar mixas chagik, and also according to the one who says that part of Chol HaMoed needs to be in the fall season. Again, if you're going to say the day of the equinox is still the summer season, you're off by a day. And so the Gemara says, Ella, rather you have to say, Kosavri, that they hold, Yom Tekufa Maschil, that day of the equinox is actually the beginning of the fall season. But the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have a question from the following Brisa, Yom Tekufa Gomer, the day of the Tekufa, that day of the equinox is actually the end of the summer season. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda, that seems to contradict what we just said in Rabbi Yehuda above, that Yom Tekufa is Maschil. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Yom Tekufa Maschil. Rabbi Yossi says that the day of the Tekufa, that's the beginning of the new season. That's consistent with what we said above, but again, it's a question within Rabbi Yehuda. V'yon, and further, Tanya, we learned in a Brisa, Ein ma'avernes hashana elim kein hoisa Tekufa chaseira Rubo Shel Chodesh, we do not declare a leap year unless the season is missing the majority of the month. Again, the summer season extends into the month of Tishrei, the majority of the month. V'kama Rubo Shel Chodesh, what's considered the majority of the month? Shisha Asar Yom, it's considered to be 16 days. Rabbi Yehuda says, Shtei Yodos B'Chodesh, it's 2/3 of the month. V'kama Shtei Yodos B'Chodesh, how much is 2/3 of the month? That's Chaf Yom, that is 20 days. This is inconsistent with what Rabbi Yehuda said above of 16 days. Rabbi Yossi says, Mechashvin Shisha Asar Lefnei HaPesach, we calculate 16 days before Pesach. Ma'avrin, then we will declare a leap year. We'll see Rashi in a moment. Shisha Asar Lefnei HaChag, but 16 days before Sukkot, Ein Ma'avrin, so then we will not declare a leap year. Rabbi Shimon says, Av Shisha Asar Lefnei HaChag Me'avrin, even 16 days before Sukkot will declare a leap year. Acherim Omer, and others say Miyuto, that we go by the minority of the month. V'kama Miyuto, how much is the minority of the month? Arba Asar Yom, it's 14 days, and the Gemara says, Kash, indeed, this Bryce is difficult as well. And Rashi explains, Maschil, again, both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, they hold that the day of the Tkufa is the beginning of the fall season, Hu Rishon Limei Tkufa Haba, that's the first day of the fall season. Hilkach Rabbi Yehuda, therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Im Tipol B'Shisha Asar, if that day falls out on the 16th, Shehu Rishon L'Chol Shel Moed, which is the first day of Chol HaMoed, Ika Kulei Chag, so then we have the entire Chol HaMoed in the fall season, and there's no need to declare a leap year. Or Rabbi Yossi, and according to Rabbi Yossi, Im Tipol B'Shvi Shel Arava, if that equinox day falls out on the 7th day, meaning to say Hoshana Rabbah, again, that's the last day of Chol HaMoed, Ika Mixas, then some of Chol HaMoed is in the fall season, and in that situation there would be no need to declare a leap year. And the Gemara then asked a question from a Brisa, Meisve Yom Tekufa Gomer, Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. We have a question because Rabbi Yehuda says in this Brisa that the Yom Tekufa is actually the finishing of the summer season. V'keven de Yom Tekufa Gomer, if that's the case, that that's the last day of summer, so Lama Li Chasei Rashisha Asar, so why is he saying that 16 days? It's not really true that 16 days is going to be the right number of days, because again, 16 days into the month of Tishrei, if that's going to still be the summer season, that is going to be a situation where you're going to need to declare a leap year, because the Yom Tekufa is still considered the summer season. That contradicts what we said above within Rabbi Yehuda. And Rashi continues, V'yotanya, and further we learned in a Brisa, Rabbi Yehuda asked him that according to Rabbi Yehuda we go by 20 days. Teshaminan minod, Rabbi Yehuda mixas chag, hude boy. According to that, it would come out that Rabbi Yehuda holds we only require some of Chol HaMoed to be in the fall season, not the entire Chol HaMoed to be in the fall season. V'kasha l'Shmuel betarti, and therefore we have two questions with regards to Shmuel's opinion. And Rashi continues, the opinion of the first time of the Brisa, Shisha Asar, if the summer season extends 16 days into Tishrei, V'nofelos b'Shiva Asar, and then the day of the equinox is on day number 17, then you are not going to have the entire fall season on Chol HaMoed Sukkos, and therefore you're going to need to declare a leap year. And then according to Rabbi Yehuda Esrim, like we said, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's 20 days, V'nofelos b'Chaf Aleph, and then it's on day number 21, 21 that the fall equinox is. Now, even though that day is the last day of Chol Hamoed, but still, Leka Mixas Chag, you still don't have part of Sukkot or part of Chol Hamoed in fall, to Rabbi Yehuda Yom Tkufa Gomer, because again, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the day of the Tkufa, the day of the equinox, which is day 21 over here, that's Gomer, that's still the conclusion of the summer season. V'eno min hachadasha, that's not considered part of the new season, and that's why in such a situation you would have to declare a leap year. And Rashi continues with Rabbi Yossi's opinion, Shisha Asr Lefnei HaPesach Ma'avrin, if it's 16 days before Pesach, then we will declare a leap year. What that means to say is, Im Tekufa Shelefnei HaPesach, if the season that's before Pesach, Dahainu Tkufas Teves, that's referred to as Tkufas Teves, that's the winter season, Chaseira Shisha Asr B'Nisan, if there's 16 days that goes into Nisan, the winter extends into Nisan for 16 days, Utkufa Nofeles B'Shiva Asr, and then you have the spring equinox on the 17th day of Nisan, so then Ma'avernes Hashana, then you have to declare a leap year, Shekeshata Mona Mishiva Asr B'Nisan, Tzadi Aleph Yom L'Tkufas Nisan, because if you're going to count from that 17th day of Nisan, 91 days, which is the spring season, V'Tzadi Aleph Yom L'Shel Tammuz, and then you're going to have another 91 days for the summer season, Harehem Kolim B'Chaf Aleph B'Tishrei, that's going to come out, that those will conclude on the 21st of Tishrei, Utkufa Nofeles B'Chaf Beis, and then the equinox, the fall equinox, will be on 22. V'Afa Gavdel Rabbi Yossi Miyom Tekufa Maschil, and even though according to Rabbi Yossi, on the day of the Tekufa, that's the beginning of the new season, but Leka Mixas Chag B'Tekufa Chadasha, you don't have part of Chol Hamoed in that situation, in that new season. And Rashi continues, Ketzad, how so? How does it add up in this fashion? Told Yudala de Nisan Shu Malay, you take 14 days from Nisan because Nisan's a full month, V'Iyar, V'Sivan, then you add in the months of Iyar and Sivan, that's Nun Tes, that comes out to 59, V'Tamuz V'Av Nun Tes, and Tamuz and Av, that's 59, Hare Kuf Lamed Beis, that comes out to a total of 132, Ve'Elul Chav Tes Shu Chaser, and then Elul, that's another 29 days, because that's a Chaser month, Hare Kuf Samech Aleph, that comes out to a total of 161, V'Chaf Aleph de Tishrei, then you have 21 days of Tishrei, Hare Kuf Pei Beis, that comes out to 182, Yemei Shtei Tkufos, that's the amount of days of two seasons, V'Shel Tishrei Nofeles B'Chaf Beis, and Tishrei, that season is coming out on the 22nd, Mishum Hachi Ma'avrin, in such a situation, you would declare a leap year. Avol Nafla Tkufas Tishrei B'Yom Chaf Aleph, but if the Tkufas Tishrei falls out on day 21, Ein Ma'avrin, then we would say there's no need to declare a leap year, D'Yom Tkufa Maschil, because the day of the Tkufa, that's actually the beginning of the new season, V'Ika Yom Echad Mechol Shel Moed B'Tkufa Chadash, and you would have, in that scenario, one day of Chol Hamoed in the new season. And Rashi continues, this is also Rabbi Yossi, that Shisha Asr Lefnei HaChag, if let's say the summer season goes 16 days into Tishrei, Im Chasra Tkufas Tammuz Shu Lefnei HaChag Shisha Asr Mimei Tishrei, again, if you have the summer season extending 16 days into Tishrei, V'Nafla Shel Tishrei B'Yud Zayin, and the equinox that falls out on the 17th day of Tishrei, Ein Ma'avrin, so then there's no need to declare a leap year, De'ika Mecholo Shel Moed B'Tkufa Chadasha Tuva, then you have plenty of days of Chol Hamoed that are in the fall. Well, the Kaman Parach, and the Gemara later is going to ask on this, according to Rabbi Yossi right now, we're saying that you just need to have one day of Chol Hamoed in the fall. So Amay Amar Shitzar, why is he saying 16? Afilu Chasra Shivsar, V'Tamnei Sar, V'Yotes V'Esrim, even if it's missing 17, 18, 19, or 20, Kamar Nami Rabbi Yossi De'ein Ma'avrin. Rabbi Yossi would say in that situation also, you wouldn't declare a leap year. Because it's only when it's 16 in the season by Pesach that we declare a leap year. Which is because the Tkufas Tishrei falls out on 22. As long as the Tkufas Tishrei is falling out before 22, it should be fine. So there's no reason to use the number 16 over here. That the Gemara will ask. And then the Braisa brought the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, Af Shisha Asr Lefnei HaChag Ma'avrin, even 16 days, if it goes into Tishrei, that's the summer season, you're going to declare a leap year. Because again, Rabbi Shimon holds the entire Chol Hamoed needs to be in the fall season. Well, the Kaman Parach Tanakama, the Gemara later on will ask, that seems to be the exact same Shita as the Tanakama. And then the Acherim, there was the opinion of the Acherim that a minority of the month, Mefarish Tamayu L'Kaman, that will be explained later on. And again, the Gemara concluded Kasha that these brises are difficult within the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara continues and analyzes the brisa. Omar Mar, the master said, Rabbi Yehuda says, Shtei Yodos B'Chodesh, that the summer season has to extend 2/3 into the month of Tishrei, Esrim Yom, which is 20 days. And Rabbi Yossi says, Mechashvin Shisha Asar Yom Lefnei HaPesach Ma'avrin. If 16 days before Pesach, meaning the winter season extends into Nisan by that amount of time, then we declare a leap year. Now, both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi are saying that part of Chol HaMoed Sukkos, and only part of Chol HaMoed Sukkos, needs to be in the fall. And if you have none of Chol HaMoed Sukkos in the fall, then you declare a leap year. And so the Gemara asks, Hainu Rabbi Yehuda, isn't that the same as Rabbi Yehuda? Both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi, they both agree that you just have to have at least one day of Chol HaMoed Sukkos in the fall season. And the Gemara says, Yom Tekufa Gomer, V'Yom Tekufa Maschil, Ika Beinayu. You're right, but the only difference between them is that day of the equinox, that day of the Yom Tekufa, is that considered the end of the previous season, or is that considered the beginning of the next season? They're just arguing about that one day. And again, as we said, Rabbi Yehuda holds Yom Tekufa Gomer, and Rabbi Yossi is the one who holds Yom Tekufa Maschil. And the Gemara continues and analyzes the Brisa. Amar Mar, the master, said, Shisha Asar Lefnei HaChag Ein Ma'avrin, 16 days before Sukkot, then you do not declare a leap year again. According to Rabbi Yossi, as long as one day of Chol HaMoed falls out in the fall, you do not declare a leap year. And the Gemara asks, as Rashi said before, Elul Rabbi Yossi, but according to Rabbi Yossi, Shisha Asar Lefnei HaChag Hu Delo, if it's 16 days before Sukkot, then you don't declare a leap year. Hashivsar Utamnesar Ma'avrin, but let's say it'd be 17 or 18, you would declare a leap year. But that's not true. Vamar Shisha Asar Lefnei HaPesach in Batzirlo, he just said it's 16 days before Pesach. That's the scenario where you declare a leap year. Less than that, you do not. Meaning, again, as long as you just have one day, according to Rabbi Yossi, of Chol HaMoed Sukkos in the fall, that should be sufficient. And the Gemara says, Lo, no, you're right. Idi v'idi ein ma'avrin. In all these situations, we do not declare a leap year. Again, as long as just one day of Chol HaMoed Sukkos falls out in the fall, that is sufficient. V'aidi d'tana reisha shisha asher lefnei HaPesach, since the way it was phrased was with the number 16 in terms of before Pesach, tana nami shisha asher lefnei HaChag. We're just showing the contrast that 16 before Sukkot, that would not be true. But again, the basic calculation is as long as one day of fall ends up in Chol HaMoed Sukkos, that is sufficient according to Rabbi Yossi, and there's no need to declare a leap year. And the Gemara continues, Rabbi Shimon Omer in the Brisa, Rabbi Shimon said, Av Shisha Asar Lefnei HaChag Mi'avrin, even 16 days before Sukkot, we do declare a leap year. Again, according to Rabbi Shimon, the entire Chol HaMoed Sukkos needs to be part of the fall. And so the Gemara asks, Tainu Tanakama, isn't that exactly what the Tanakama said? And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Gimel Amid Beis.